Do you want to know what's going to happen in the next 4 to 5 weeks? This is taking a look at the USA birth chart as well as Donald Trump's birth chart. And let's see what the predictions are for each chart. Let's go. Okay, I'm Holly Hall from Askhollyhall.com. Like, subscribe, follow. Let's take a look at the USA first of all. The USA has what's called a Pluto return. And we don't usually have that in our lifetime, but the US is a lot older than we are. So we're going to take a look at that. Now, what a Pluto return means, we're going back to a resurrection of where we started. So I say we, I'm Canadian, but the United States started with independence from the British Empire on July 4th. Going to return to having independence. And the Pluto does cause disruption, though. It does cause fire. It does cause war. It does cause deep intrigue of uncovering things that are scary and frightening and people don't really want to see. That's all about Pluto's this huge, massive investigation that basically turns things inside out. What that means is that there's going to be a lot of communication. It's in the 8th house, so we're looking at lies and deceptions and psychological warfare. So it's gonna uncover psychological warfare, and it's going to be more towards look at what this is doing to your children. It's going to be around children, and launch around dealing with mental health and the effects of psychological warfare that's been going on for decades. That's what I'm hoping with this. Now, we want to know, when is that over? Because this is something that's rather important. It ended at the beginning of 2024, but all the investigation was done in 2023 and 2022, which will be uncovered. And they will let you know when they were doing this research. Also, with Neptune going into the 2nd house, this begins the healing, not the 2nd house, in 2 degrees. This begins the healing of a nation. That's what Neptune is all about, and it's in its own beautiful sign of Pisces. Again, this is Sidereal Vedic astrology. This is when the healing begins. For the U.S., this means the blinders are coming off. Everyone will see clearly. However, with it at 2 degrees, this is not over until the beginning of 2025 into February of 2025. I believe that's when everyone will see the light. All the blinders will be lifted. People will see clearly, and they'll be at awe of not only what has been uncovered, but the hundreds of millions of people that were affected by all of us that were blind, that we weren't able to save them, cure them, help them, heal them. And now they cry a billion tears in gratitude, grateful, and some bitter that it took this long. Now, what the Americans want is they want to see change. Whether you're voting for Trump or you're voting for Kamala, and I am going to bring up Kamala in this one as well. Voting for whoever, they want change. The change is positive. However, with Uranus hitting Venus in a positive trine, this means that it will have to do with financial impact. It will do with a new monetary system. Again, it'll be all focused around children, a new educational system. The same token, we're going to be looking at this for the next year and a bit. And this is Uranus, so it means sudden, unexpected change. It will be a sudden surprise. There's more coming to the table. You think that we're being surprised at last minute additions to, let's say, for instance, the Trump team, and then Kamala taking over Biden. It's just been sudden, unexpected changes. We're going to see one more, and I'll give you the date. The last 2 weeks of May 2025. What will that be? It's Uranus. Very unpredictable. Now let's take a look at Donald Trump. What's going on with his chart? Interesting, because the same time frame of 2022 and 2023, where I see that you're going to see the results of all of the research and the proof and the not just the allegations, but proof of allegations that are going to come to the table, regardless if Trump wins or not, is also in Trump's chart. He was involved in this, and this is associated with children that are near and dear to his heart. He hasn't exposed it, and he may not, because he doesn't want the children that are near and dear to his heart, like, he doesn't want to expose them. But he'll half expose it, basically saying exactly what I said. And this was very, very difficult for him. This is why he adopted this attitude, I will die for this. Fighting and going down with the ship. For this has now hit home. I can't tell you exactly what it is again. But that's what's going to happen. Now, on November 5th, what would be the prediction there for him? The election is in his favor. A sudden, unexpected twist, a very, very, very close call. So it's like really 50-50. I know I'm not putting myself out there by saying who exactly is going to win, but it's so fucking close. Like 50-50, I'm almost getting that there has to be like a recount or there's an investigation. Something delays the final results, but when people expect it to be. So expect to be up 24 hours, people, maybe longer. You might not get any sleep. And blame him for using that. Now you're using the children to pull on the heartstrings. It is he's got it in his back pocket for when if he really needs it at the last minute. And I'm telling you, he's going to need it. Oh, and I almost forgot the most important part about Trump's chart. Uranus is hovering over back and forth over his MC. That means his social status, career, etc. And since Uranus is making some positive aspects to his entire chart, in his favor. Now, I will say that Mars is being affected negatively in his chart, and that is starting in May, June, and I believe that that will be focused around money and finances and the public opinion about what he is doing that they don't agree with around finances and supporting families. That's what he wants to do, is support the American family by making a huge financial shift in the way that money is being used. He gets a lot of backlash from that because he's making a massive change to the system. Again, not sure what that is because it's Uranus, but hang in and see what happens in June time frame. The first thing with Pamela's chart is how Saturn is opposing Venus, and this is the public eye. This is popularity with Leo, also around a big family dynamic or a big brother type of entity. Saturn means that the powers that be, a larger organization, a larger community, a larger entity. That's Uranus, is about large organizations, is opposing the Venus in Leo, which means that there's ego being involved here, a big ego. Now, she's not normally really egotistical. She's very compliant, easygoing, people pleaser, wants others to be happy, easily intimidated, to be honest with you, and can get lost in her thoughts emotionally, and very hard to say no. So I believe that there's some kind of an upper or higher power that she is agreeing to. You know, whether it's Biden or Biden administration or the government behind the government. Obama said once in an interview. But she's a yes girl. This is out of compassion, because that's what she's a compassionate person, so that's what they're saying. Like, do this for compassion. Do this because you care. Do this because you want to, you care about the community, you care about the country, you care about us who cares about the country. So she comes by this very innocently and quite honestly. The Libra is strong in her chart, so she does care about what's fair. And so they're using that as well too. This just isn't fair. This isn't a fair situation. You can make it fair. That's why she got into the legal career, because she believes in fairness that she's a healer. And I remember I do sidereal astrology, but very spiritual astrology too. So she came into this lifetime to be Kamala Harris for a reason, to help change society, to help change humanity. Now, as a human, she may be lost in the ego matrix part of it as well, but her intention is to play a part that helps heal society. So even if she gets voted in, it's going to be exposed just by the way that she reacts while she is in presidency. I don't think she'll last, because I think whoever is vice president will end up in, which may be their intention. It's already a plan, because she's a softie. I don't think she can handle it. I don't think she'll handle the pressure from the powers that be, the government behind the government. She really is easily intimidated. So there you go. Who's going to win? Well, it's going to be tight. I still say it's going to be Trump. I'm Canadian. When Trump was in power before, I did not like him. I do admit I am biased with Robert Kennedy Jr. I've always liked his platform around the agricultural system. I've had huge issues with that. I was awake around it 10 years, 15 years ago. I'd say 10 years ago. And I do always have liked Elon. I do not think he's implanting chips in our heads so that they can control us, or putting it in our bloodstream so we can be controlled. He's clearly done videos that show that he's doing it for people that are paraplegic, or they're blind, or they can't hear. It's all meant for that. And I also think that's going to go on he's going to shelf that, because he's got other things on his agenda that are more important at this time. And the couple of people that are on the Trump team, I'm impressed, I have to admit. So I should do one with Canada, because we're in trouble.